This is the place where we can learn and make intelligent decisions to maintain and maximize our health as we age, changing our lifestyle and changing our trajectory of our life so that we can have the life we always wanted to have, keep us socially engaged with our community. Good news is it's never too late. Hello, and welcome to Doc's Place, where we age responsibly. Today, we're going to talk about the most powerful longevity drug in existence. And I'm going to read a couple of things. This drug has the greatest power to determine how you will live out the rest of your life. It can lengthen your life by several years. It delays the onset of chronic disease. It can extend and improve your health span. It can slow or reverse mental decline. And if you're like me and have Amazon Prime, you're already out there pulling it up saying, okay, I'm going to order this. It'll be here tomorrow. I'm going to start taking it. And it's going to be a miracle drug. Well, it is a miracle drug, but the drug is exercise. Now, I got you all excited for nothing. I'm sorry about that. But I actually recorded this podcast and then came back and am re-recording it because I don't think people realize how important exercise is. I don't even realize how important it is until I start rereading some of the data and the statistics. And you just don't stick with exercise as well if you just think, oh, I'm just going to go out and get a little bit healthier, a little bit stronger. If you realize how vitally important this is to your rest of your life, then you become a little more interested in exercise. Exercise has been shown in a lot of studies to really change people's life. If you're in the lower fourth of cardiorespiratory fitness, and that's basically getting your heart rate up and breathing heavy, that kind of exercise, walking, running, swimming, those sorts of things. If you are measured, if you go to a lab and get measured on a bike and they measure how well your oxygen consumption is, if you're in the bottom fourth of being able to get your heart rate and respiratory rate up during exercise, then you're 4 times likelier to die than somebody in the top 25% of that. And even if you're only in the 40 to 60% range, you're still twice as likely to live longer than somebody in the bottom 25%. Now, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about cardiorespiratory fitness. Most people can get out and walk and get their heart rate up and get their breathing up, or run, or get on a bicycle or treadmill at the gym. In fact, when I go to the gym, most of the time, the cardio machines are full and the weight equipment is less full. So people kind of understand, and it's kind of easy to get out and get your heart rate and your breathing up. But we're going to talk a lot today about muscle exercise, actually working out and strength training. And the reason is because strength training is just as important, or probably even more important, than being able to get your heart rate and breathing up during exercise. And it correlates just as well with living longer. The only problem is that, in one study they took men over 40, and the risk of all-cause mortality was 48% lower if they were in the top third in terms of strength than the bottom third, even if their cardiorespiratory rate wasn't that good, even if they didn't get out and huff and puff. If they were in the top third of being stronger than in the bottom third of being stronger, their mortality risk of all-cause mortality, not any just heart or lung or cancer, but all-cause mortality, was 48% lower. So the only problem with exercise is that 77% of United States population does not exercise. And so if you take out the kids in school that are doing some exercise, or kids that are doing sports, that leaves a whole lot of people. If you look around, you and me, I mean, there's not that many people exercising. Only less than 25% of people are exercising. Yet it's the #1 longevity drug. I actually am going to attach a clip I found on Instagram. It's a lady in her 80s. Her mother died of Alzheimer's. She was diagnosed with Alzheimer's at the age of 65, and she decided to change her family history. And she started making the necessary changes. She started exercising, and she's 81, I think, now, and she's going on a 2,500-mile walk to kind of promote the benefits of health. You know, her mind is good, she's strong and active, and has staved off what she saw happen to her mom and had the risk of having, because she was already diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. So exercise is so important that I had to read to the podcast. And you're like, well, geez, you know, where do I start? What do I do? I can say go out and start walking, and that's good, but people can do that, and it's easy. And like I say, you need 90 minutes of exercise a week. Now, when we're saying walking where, you know, you can talk, but you're still a little short of breath. It's a good pace. It's not just the walking around the grocery store. Well, I got my steps in. Well, that's not quite the same. But the muscle strength, to me, is so important, and I'll tell you why. If you look at these pictures, they're cross sections of thigh muscles, and these are MRIs. So what you're looking at is the big gray area in that circle is muscle. The little white part in the middle is the actual bone. And then the rind, like an orange, that peel around the outside, that is skin and fat. The top picture is a 40-year-old man. He has normal muscles for his age. But as we've talked about or have mentioned in the past, is that starting in your 30s, 1% of your muscle mass, you lose 1% of your muscle mass a year. So when you hit your 50s, you've lost 20% of your muscle mass. When you hit 60, 70, you're losing 30, 40% of your muscle mass. And we see that in the second picture. This is a 74-year-old man that just gets up and goes to work and comes home, or gets up and, you know, gets the mail and comes in and watches TV. And you notice that he literally has about half the muscle mass of the top picture. And you see how much more fat is in that thigh. Now, that's what's kind of deceiving. You can be the same weight you were in high school and think, oh, you know, I'm doing good, I'm not overweight. But what you don't understand is you've lost so much muscle that it's been replaced by fat. So it can look the same size, but it's not the same quality. It doesn't give you the same strength and endurance that that top muscle does, that's completely full in that leg. Now, the bottom picture is by the man that wrote the book. I've read his book, and he's 70 years old when he wrote this. He was a triathlete, which means he did like Ironman triathlons, and he biked 100 miles at a time. And he lifted weights and ate good and biked, and that was his regimen. And if you notice, his leg in the bottom picture looks almost exactly as good as the one in the 40-year-old, or actually it looks just as good. So what that tells you, number one, is despite the fact that you're going to age, you can slow that down and prevent a lot of the problems we have as we age by exercise. And the other thing it tells you is that no matter how old you are, if you just start doing something and get serious about this, then you're actually going to make a difference, and you can actually change how your leg looks. You might have that 40-year-old leg, or I mean that 70-year-old leg that's sitting there and just eating cereal and watching TV. And you can change that. Now, you may not get it up to the guy that's probably been a little more active all of his life, but you can make a difference. You can add muscle strength, and you can increase your length of life. You can increase the quality of your life. You can increase your mental alertness. And I just can't tell you how important exercise is. So that's why we are spending so much time just talking about how important exercise is. Another thing you'll notice if you've been around older people, and just start paying attention. If you're my age, I'm 70, and you go out to lunch or you go to dinner or you go to church, anywhere you go, notice how people stand up. People in our age group or older, they do this. They start doing this to push up, to get out of a chair, or they will reach up to the table where they're sitting and pull up off the chair. And what you should be able to do is just get up out of the chair and get back down, and get up and get down out of the chair. And what that's from is what we just saw in those pictures. You've lost so much muscle mass that you literally don't have enough strength just in your legs to get up and down off the couch, get in and out of the car, get up and down the stairs, and carry in your groceries. You have to use your arms to assist your legs. That's what's happening. Just notice that sometime and you'll be shocked. Now, don't go preaching to everybody saying, oh, you need to get in the gym. But what you need to do is change your life. And then as you have a change in your life and change in your physical health, then you can encourage other people. You can, they'll come ask you, what are you doing? You look so much better. You look younger. Or how is that helping you going to the gym, during the week? All right. So it's important. You can't get it off Amazon. You have to put in the effort. You have to make the mental decision that it's important and that you have to do this and that you can change your lifestyle. But that doesn't mean that you just have to drudge through hard work and wake up sore and miserable and say, oh, I gotta go to the gym. Peter Attia, and I recommend this book, and I'll post it where you can see it better. It's called Outlive. It's one of my favorite authors. And if you don't like authors, he also has a podcast, his Peter Attia podcast. And it's pretty well written for lay people. You can go through it and understand the medical terminology and stuff. It's written for lay people. But he has something that he calls the centenarian decathlon. So it doesn't, you don't have to be a world-class athlete when you're 70, but you can be fit and healthy in a lot of different ways. And he has a list of things that you can go through and look. He has a list actually of 20 things, and you can actually put more on that list. But it's things that you might want to be able to do as you age. And some of these are like hike a mile and a half on a hilly trail. How many of you have gone to a park or out on with people and they say, oh, let's take this trail, let's go for a walk, it's just a mile and a half, and you about die. And so one of these things that you can achieve or look for or try to do is hike a mile and a half, get up off the floor under your own power with just one arm. And if you are over 50, you know what I'm talking about, but you need to practice that. As you get older, people can't get off the floor and they can fall, and even if they don't break anything, they can't get off the floor. So other things, pick up a child off the floor, carry 2 5-pound bags of groceries for a couple of blocks, lift a 25-pound suitcase into the overhead compartment. If you want to travel when you're older, you got to be able to get your luggage up over there, or else don't check everything. Balance on one leg. Walk with a dumbbell in your hand for a minute. Do just a dead hanging from a bar for a minute. Carry your luggage. Walk up a steep hill. Climb 4 flights of stairs. Open a jar. Now there's one of my issues. I have some arthritis in my hands, and my grip strength is weak or weaker than it should be. And opening a jar sometimes is hard, especially the bigger the jar, the I can't get as good a grip on it. So there are things on this list that you say, yeah, these are things that would be important to me. And then you can tailor your exercise program to things that are important to you, things you want to be able to do. You know, you be in the gym and all of a sudden you're doing dumbbell presses and you're using 10-pound weights on each side. I mean, you may start out with 2-pound weights on each side, but you go to 5-pound and 10-pound weights, and all of a sudden you're saying, I could lift that suitcase up into the airplane. So just get excited about the progress you make in the gym. Now, I'm going to tell you some things about getting started in a gym and working out. And these are kind of the tricks that people may not realize. It depends on where you live. You may live in a town where there's only one gym and then you don't have much choice. You may live in a town where there's several gyms. Now, gyms all have a personality. There are different kinds of gyms. There's you know, you may have a YMCA, you may have a Crunch Fitness, you may have a Planet Fitness, you may have a local gym that's geared toward just your regular working crowd. You may have a gym that's more of what we call iron gym, a heavy duty gym where people work out and you see the big muscle guys walking around in there. Actually, some of those are the best gyms. Those people are actually probably more likely to help you and be interested in your fitness journey than some of the other gyms. So don't just say, oh, that's just a big bunch of muscled up men in there. So don't be afraid of those kind of gyms, actually. But each gym has personality, and you've got to find what's right for you and what fits your personality. The other thing is, if you've ever bought a house or looked to move into a new neighborhood, you don't go just one time a day and say, yeah, this neighborhood looks great. You know, you're going to go at 7 o'clock in the morning, see what the school traffic looks like. Can you get in and out of the streets? You're going to go in the middle of the day and just see what it looks like when it's quiet. And you're going to go in the afternoons or on the weekends and see what it looks like after everybody's home and they're out working in their yards or whatever their activities they're doing around the house. Is there blaring music, that sort of thing. You're going to research a neighborhood. You do the same thing with a gym. You go in 2 or 3 times during the day and see what time is best for you. If you're on a less structured schedule and you can pick your time, then go in the morning, go in at around noon, and go in the afternoons, and see what time you like. And you can go to a gym and adjust your schedule where you're going to the gym at the time of day that you like to go. You can ask the person at the gym, what's your busiest times, what's your slowest times, and get a real feel for a gym and its atmosphere. The other thing you have to look at is your personality. Now, gyms have all kinds of offerings. They have classes. You can get early morning classes, afternoon classes, weekend classes. You can work with a group. They are good classes. They a lot of times will have weight involved in the class, as well as getting your heart rate and breathing up. So some of them are like you bike a little bit and then you do some weights and then you do some stretching. And those are good classes. They help you with your form and make sure you're doing the exercises right. You get the camaraderie of being with people. And if you know any of the people in the class, then you kind of really enjoy, it's a social time too. There's also just working out with a trainer. Most gyms offer training personnel that can help you, get you to understand how to work out, how to use the machines, what's the proper form. Form in the beginning is probably more important than the weights you lift. You want to start with light weights and learn how to do good form, and then you can move up to heavier weights and build your muscle. Classes, you can work out on your own. If you work out on your own, the best app out there, and this is a shameless plug for a friend of mine, Charles Glass, is the Godfather of Bodybuilding app. Here's the picture. You download this app. It does have a membership fee. Well worth it. Spend the money. This app will have scheduled workouts. It will have every muscle group that you want to train. There will be videos of it, and they're extremely well done videos with the explanations. They will freeze the exercise and highlight what they're talking about so you'll understand the proper forms. You can put together a workout on your own if you like working out on your own, then, and especially if you've done any kind of training in the past, then go in there and set yourself up a program. And just, you can go by, he has everything grouped by whether it's chest workout or leg workout or back workout, and you can pick your exercises, plan a workout, pull up those videos, and have an excellent workout. I have worked with a trainer for almost 15 years, and I started out when I had lost most of my 100 pounds and decided I needed to really start lifting weights again. It was the only way I was going to get the last of that weight off. And I had trained some, knew the basics, but it'd been years, and I hired a trainer, and I said, I'm just going to train a few sessions with you so I can get back to using the equipment, make sure I'm doing everything right. And that was 15 years ago. So I love working with a trainer, and we will pull out the Godfather Bodybuilding app and pull up some exercises out of that, and we'll follow Charles on Instagram, and whatever his latest thing that he's emphasizing, we'll make sure we're looking at those. So there's all kinds of different ways to exercise, but pick what works for your personality, pick on what works for the type of atmosphere you like, and don't be defeated by not taking the time to research gyms. Most gyms will give you a pass. You can get a couple of week pass. And if you're going to start on an exercise program, please stay with it at least 3 weeks. It'll take you a week just to quit, just to figure out how to get in the door and go change clothes and which machine, where's what machine, you know, that'll probably take 2 or 3 weeks actually. But, you know, it's going to take you a while to get used to the gym itself and the machines. You're going to get over being sore. Even if you work out with light weights, you're going to be sore for a few days. And it takes 3 weeks to build a habit. If you can do something for 3 weeks, then you'll have a habit. Now, the recommendation is 90 minutes of exercise 3 times. 90 minutes of exercise a week will make a difference in your health. That's all you need is 90 minutes. If you're looking at muscle workout, muscle strength, we recommend every body part once a week. So you're looking at, you can do that in 2 days. You can do it in 3 days. And you can do it in 5 days. Or if you're like me, you can do it in 6 days. But you can pick an amount of time that works for you. You just have to plan out. And even if you have to write it down and carry an index card or put it in your notes section on your phone so you can pull it up, that you have a organized routine. But you can get a full body workout in and get your 90 minutes of exercise in every week in 2 or 3 days. It's not going to be a full-time job for you to do this. Don't be worried about, oh, this is going to cost too much, I can't afford it. If you're retired, you're on a limited income, almost all gyms take your insurance. Now, what that means is most insurances, if you check yours, will have so many workouts at a gym for free, basically for you. The gym gets reimbursed by your insurance. So check with your gym that you're looking at, check with your insurance policy, look in the print about that. It's usually called like Silver Sneakers or, I forget the other names, but there's some names for that in your insurance, and check and see. But a lot of times you can have a certain amount of free workouts every month from your insurance, especially I think it's maybe age 60 or 65. You'll have to just check and see what your individual policies cover. So don't be afraid of that. Again, if you don't want or can't afford a trainer, find one of your friends that goes to the gym, or if you know kids, college kids or people like that, say, who could help me at the gym just get started? Have you got time to show me around? Ask your kids, ask your friends. Somebody's willing to help you. If you came into the gym and just said, I need some help, can somebody show me Is there anybody that has time? Then they'll find somebody. They'll get somebody to help you. In closing, it takes not that much time to change your health, to stave off Alzheimer's, to decrease the risk of having a fall and not returning to your full regular life. There are 800,000 falls in the United States every year, 800,000 falls. And I don't have the hard statistic with me right now, but basically half those people are not going to go home, or they're not going to be able to get up and resume their normal lifestyle. And you and I all know people like that. Well, Mama, fell, she broke her hip, she came home, and, 3 or 4 weeks later, she broke her other hip, she fell again, or maybe 6 months later, she fell again. And, her mind's just hadn't been right, she just hadn't been as sharp. And pretty soon you're looking at assisted living, or you're looking at nursing home placement. And that is where we don't want to see our loved ones, and we don't want to be there ourselves. So take your medicine, go to the gym. As Arnold would say, he used to say, get to the chopper, but he also says, get to the gym. So do it. Nike, just do it. And we'll see you on our next podcast. We appreciate you tuning in. Thank you.